The recent drone attack by Ukraine on Russia and the global consequences have been around the news lately. Though smaller, Ukraine managed to strike deep into Russia, posing challenges to its multi-ethnic empire. The implications extend beyond borders as drones take center stage, potentially changing global power dynamics. So what is about to come next? We will talk about what Peter Zeihan has to say about it. Ukraine's largest ever drone assault on Russia. So here's the deal. Ukraine just pulled off a jaw-dropping move by launching their most significant drone attack ever into Western Russia. I mean, who saw that coming, right? Even though Ukraine isn't exactly the big kid on the block, they managed to hit deep into Russian territory, causing some real damage. This drone attack went more than 100 kilometers inside Russia from the Ukrainian border and left quite a mess. Aircraft, infrastructure, you name it. But it's not just about the physical damage. This whole thing has serious implications. You see, Russia has this history of being this multi-ethnic empire. They keep expanding, absorbing neighboring areas, and they're all about reaching natural barriers. But here's the twist. The Ukraine war is proving to be quite the headache for them. It's not just about the fight, it's about how the different ethnic groups within Russia are starting to stir things up. This is a real challenge for Russia. If they can't keep a lid on these internal issues, their whole strategy of projecting power beyond their borders could be in jeopardy. It's like a real turning point for them. But wait, there's more to the story. This drone attack highlights how drones are changing the game in modern warfare. It's like the cat's out of the bag, showing that even smaller countries can use drones to shake things up on the world stage. Now, the US is eyeing this situation too. They say, if Ukraine can do this with drones, so can we. But here's the kicker. Many drone parts come from China, of all places. China's in a pickle. They could stop sending drones and drone parts to the US, which would harden their economy. It's like a real catch-22. In a nutshell, Ukraine's giant drone move on Russia is like a big wake-up call. It's changing how we think about warfare and geopolitics. Challenges to Russia's multi-ethnic empire. Now let's get into the challenges Russia faces with its multi-ethnic empire. Peter Zeihan, the guy who knows his geopolitics, has some thoughts on this too. So here's the deal. Russia's MO has always been about expanding, absorbing, and reaching those natural barriers they can defend. It's worked for them over the years, no doubt about it. But the Ukraine war? It's like a whole new ballgame. You see, Russia is this big, diverse empire with all sorts of ethnic groups under its roof. And when those groups voice their dissent, it's like a ticking time bomb. In the past, Russia could squash those issues quickly, but Ukraine is giving them a run for their money. Peter Zeihan says that this is the real test for Russia. If they can't keep the lid on these internal problems, it will be a real challenge for them to continue their old strategy of projecting power outside their borders. So it's not just about Ukraine being a thorn in Russia's side. It's about the cracks starting to show in Russia's multi-ethnic empire. Can they juggle all these different ethnic groups and maintain control? That's the million-dollar question. And one more thing. Even if Russia somehow wins in Ukraine, they could end up weaker than ever. They're fighting this battle on their turf without NATO or US weaponry. Ukraine is proving to be a formidable opponent, and it's taking a toll on Russia. In a nutshell, Russia's multi-ethnic empire is facing some real challenges, and Ukraine is at the forefront of it all. Experts would tell you that it's not just about winning battles. It's about holding a diverse empire together, and that's turning into quite the puzzle for Russia. Ukraine's strategic significance. Now, I will tell you why Ukraine is such a big deal in all of this. First off, Ukraine sits right on Russia's doorstep. It's not just any neighbor, it's a huge one. And historically, Ukraine has been a crucial part of Russia's strategic plans. It's like a buffer zone, a shield against potential threats from the West. But here's the twist. Ukraine isn't just a passive player in this story. It's resilient and resourceful, even without central NATO or US military support. This strategic significance is like a thorn in Russia's side. The thing is, Ukraine has a rich history and a diverse population. That's why it's so complicated. There are different ethnic groups, languages, and cultures all packed into one country. And that diversity gives Ukraine strength, making it a tough nut for Russia to crack. Now, Ukraine is about more than just about geographical importance. It's also a significant breadbasket of Europe. The country is blessed with fertile land and a key player in global grain and food markets. So, control over Ukraine means military might and economic leverage. Plus, let's remember about energy. Ukraine is a significant transit route for Russian gas to Europe. This makes it a critical player in European energy security. When you throw energy into the mix, you realize that Ukraine's significance isn't limited to its borders. It ripples across the continent. And here's something exciting. Ukraine's strategic importance isn't just about today. It's about the future. It sets a precedent if Ukraine can hold its ground and maintain its independence. Other countries with similar aspirations might be inspired to follow suit, potentially reshaping the geopolitical landscape. So, to sum it up, Ukraine's strategic significance isn't just about its location. It's about its resilience, resources, and the potential to reshape the region. The weakening of Russia. For a long time, Russia has been this formidable power with a multi-ethnic empire strategy. They keep expanding, absorbing, and ensuring their control over vast territories. It worked well for them in the past. But now, Ukraine is giving them a tough time. The conflict is like a pressure cooker, straining Russia's resources and capabilities. It's not a clear-cut victory even if they somehow come out on top in Ukraine. Peter Zeihan says that Russia's empire is showing signs of wear and tear. It's not just about Ukraine, it's about how Russia struggles to handle the internal dissent and challenges from various ethnic groups within its borders. See, here's the thing. If Russia can't swiftly suppress these internal issues, it could have a cascading effect on their ability to project power beyond their borders. The very foundation of their multi-ethnic empire strategy could be shaking. This situation is even more interesting because Ukraine is holding its own without central NATO or US military support. It's making Russia look vulnerable. The result? Even if Russia emerges from the Ukraine conflict victorious, it could be weaker than ever. All of this is weakening Russia's grip on its multi-ethnic empire. It's not just about winning battles, it's about maintaining control and power projection, and that's becoming an uphill battle for Russia. Drones as game changers. Now, let's talk about the world of drones and how they're rewriting the rules of modern warfare. This is where things really start to get interesting. Imagine this. Ukraine, a relatively more minor global player, just launched a massive drone attack on Russia. It's like a scene from a sci-fi movie, but it's real. The scale of this attack is mind-boggling, reaching more than 100 kilometers inside Russia from the Ukrainian border. It left a trail of destruction, damaging aircraft and critical infrastructure. But it's not just about the immediate damage caused by these drones. It's about what this event represents in the broader context of warfare. Drones are becoming the new game changers, leveling the playing field between smaller nations and military giants. What's particularly intriguing about this development is that drones are relatively accessible. It's not like building a fleet of fighter jets. You can practically buy off-the-shelf drone technology. Ukraine's ability to execute such a sophisticated drone attack highlights how even nations without massive defense budgets can pose a significant threat to their adversaries. So here's the million-dollar question. What happens when more countries decide to invest in drones? The US, for example, is looking at this situation and thinking, if Ukraine can do this, so can we. That's a game changer in itself. Drones could become a go-to tool in a nation's arsenal, offering new avenues for power projection and defense. But wait, there's more. The irony of this drone revolution is that many drone components come straight from China. Yes, you read that right. The parts that could potentially challenge China's military capabilities are often manufactured there. It's like a twist in the plot that nobody saw coming. If China stopped exporting these drone parts, it could theoretically slow the drone revolution. But here's the catch, it would also hit their economy hard. China has a significant stake in the global drone market, and cutting off supply would have ripple effects. These drones are shaking up the world of warfare, and Ukraine's drone attack is just a start. They're changing power dynamics, enabling smaller nations to challenge the status quo. And the irony of it all is that the very components of this drone revolution often come from the very countries they could potentially threaten. It's like a high-stakes game of chess in the world of modern warfare. China's dilemma. China has been a major player in the drone technology market. But here's where it gets tricky. The very drone technology they export could be used against them. Take the United States, for example. They're eyeing drones as a powerful tool for defense and potentially to counter China's naval prowess. So, China faces a dilemma. On the one hand, they could choose to stop exporting drone technology and parts, effectively cutting off a potential threat. On the other hand, continuing to supply drone technology to the US and other countries means they're handing over the very tools that could undermine their strategic interests. It's like a double-edged sword. They profit from the drone market, but at the same time, they're fueling a potential threat to their own security. So, what do we understand from this situation? Drones redefine power. Drones are reshaping the landscape of military power. They're accessible, versatile, and practical, allowing smaller nations to challenge established giants. Russia's challenges. The conflict between Ukraine and Russia highlights the challenges of maintaining a multi-ethnic empire. Russia's strategy is facing new hurdles that could weaken its global influence. Ukraine's resilience. Ukraine's ability to resist and strike deep into Russia showcases its resilience and strategic significance in the region. China's dilemma. China's role as a significant drone technology exporter puts them in a tricky spot. They must balance economic interests with the potential security risks of supplying advanced technology to potential adversaries. I hope you found this video on Ukraine's drone attack and global implications as fascinating as I did. So remember to give this video a thumbs up. If you're hungry for more intriguing insights and engaging discussions, click here for the next video. And of course, hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop with my latest content.